How's everybody doing today? I certainly hope you're doing well. It's that time again for another edition of Story Time. Oh man, I tell you what, I figured it out. The reason why all these stories are coming so easily, just one after another, usually it takes me a couple of weeks or a couple of months to come out with another story, but the creative juices are flying, right? And the reason why is because Monty loves candy. Oh, me and chocolate, we're real good friends. Monty's got about 4 pounds of chocolate. Got all kinds of stuff in here. And I start eating on this chocolate, the M&Ms, and I got, let's see, what else we got in here? Let's see, we got the Twix. Ooh, these are really good. Milky Ways, I love those. We got, we got the Mints, York. What else we got in here? Twix. Right? Just all kinds of candy. I start eating that candy, I'm like, oh, that'd be a good one. And then start building and creating these stories and carrying on and about. Now listen, if there's anybody with Netflix or Hollywood or any of you guys over there, you should hire me. I'm serious. And I wouldn't charge you that much. I'd charge you like $250,000 a year, and I'd create you 20 ideas that you could turn into movies, and you could make just millions. Because I'm not greedy. See what I mean? I'm serious. I mean, listen, Hollywood already took 2 of my ideas, easily proven. And you're like, oh, Monty, oh, BS. I know, it's a true story. Think about it. Monty's been talking about the Nobodies since 2010. In 2017, a show came out called The Nobodies. And what's it based around? Exactly that. Well, what's the other one? Mr. Robot. October Rains, the first channel for October Rains came out Christmas of 2011. You got that? And what was the whole premise of it? Exposing the somebodies using computers and doing exactly that. In which Mr. Robot came out in 2015. Matter of fact, Dutchie did a video because one of their episodes they used very close to the same moniker with the blue hood and the numbers behind it and all that stuff. You think it's a joke, it's not a joke. They're doing it, man. So I'm just saying, if you're going to take my work, you know, at least throw me some cake. Because you got to admit, everybody's sick and tired of watching, you know, all these Hollywood films. They got like Gilligan's Island 272. They got Jason episode 97. We're sick of that. You guys need some original content. This is why Netflix is stomping it. They are. Because they have original content. Right? For the most part. So, any of you guys out there, any of you producers, you should hire me. I'm serious. Because you give me a bag of candy, and I can put out 5 stories in a month. And they're movie worthy. And this one here, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a kick-ass story. Oh my goodness. I got it all figured out. And we created this story yesterday, and I'm so excited to tell you all about it. So original. Oh, it's a good one. And the ending, you're not even gonna see the ending until it happens. Well, you might, but I don't think so. So, I tell you what, I like to let people know whether or not the story is true. It is not a true story. It is a story in which I created. So let's go ahead and start. The name of the story is called Split Time. Alright. There's this gentleman. He was in his about mid-30s, and his name was Max. And he worked for Lockheed Martin as a draftsman. Oh yeah. He'd been working there 18 years. I mean, long time, right? But you see all these companies, they purchase with this one, they purchase that one, they change the names a little bit, but they're still military contractors, right? He had been working at this company forever. So he decided that he was going to go skiing in Aspen, Colorado. Hey, that's in my town, right? But he didn't want to hotel up in Aspen. He wanted to hotel up in Vail. The reason why he wanted to go to Vail is because his particular banking institution, there's a branch in Vail, Colorado, that don't have the same branch in Aspen. So he just figured out a convenience, because, you know, Max is just one of those principle-minded people. He doesn't feel like going to ATM machine and being charged to get his own money out of his account. I mean, how ridiculous is that, right? Good point. So anyway, he's hoteled up in Vail, Colorado there, and he gets up, and he's got a week vacation. He's got plenty of time. Here it is Monday morning, and he gets up about 9 o'clock in the morning, just nothing to do, and figures he's going to do a little shopping. So he has his breakfast at the hotel. He exits the door. He's walking down the street, and you got all these lights everywhere. It's kind of this time of year, too. It's late November, creeping into December, just like now. And he's looking at all the windows and all the knickknacks and all the, you know, the prized possessions that people want or they seek to have. He's looking in the windows and such. And he comes across this restaurant. And this restaurant in Vail has a fireplace inside the restaurant. I mean, that's very bizarre. I mean, that doesn't happen every day. And he notices that. And it attracts him to walk inside the restaurant, which he does. So he opens the door, and this place is packed. And then when he opens the door, he notices in the foyer, that's the entry area, right? He looks off to the right-hand side, and you got the little bathrooms over here, looks to the left-hand side, and there's a bunch of people that are standing around the fireplace, and there's a single individual that is standing up, and he's talking to these people, right? But the restaurant is packed, man. Oh my God, there's so many people there. So he kind of like gets closer, walks over to the fireplace where that gentleman's talking to all these people, and he's trying to listen to what he's saying. And this individual is talking about how he can stop time. And he's like, yeah, sure, right? So he's shaking his head going, yeah, okay. So, as the conversation keeps on going, these people are they're so enthralled in what this guy is saying. They can't believe it, you know, they're so interested. And he kind of, all of a sudden, he reached to his side and he goes, oh, my pager's going off. Because you see at that restaurant, they give little pagers out. So when your table's ready, you go to the table. So the person that is telling this story, his pager goes, he goes, oh, you know what? My table's ready. We'll finish this another day. So as he starts to walk away, his girlfriend walks up, and Max goes up to him and says, excuse me, sir, listen, I know you got to go to your table, but I just caught the end part of that you can stop time. And the gentleman turned around and he goes, well, I can. He's like, listen. He goes, I know you got to eat, but give me 5 minutes. Will you give me 5 minutes? He goes, no, I'll give you 3. He goes, Max says to him, what's your name? He goes, my name's Alex. And this is my girlfriend, Megan. They shake each other's hands, right? Because Alex doesn't want to be rude. And then Max is a little bit more pushy, and he goes, listen, I work for Lockheed Martin. I'm a draftsman. I've been working in my field for years and years and years, and I know that it is absolutely impossible for a human being to stop time. No way, no how. So Alex looks at him and says, would you like to put your money where your mouth is? Max looks at him and he goes, absolutely. How about $100? Alex looks at him and said, listen, pal, no disrespect, we are in Vail. I wouldn't roll out of bed for $100. How about $5 grand? Oh, Max is on the spot now, isn't it? 5G, that's a lot of bread, right? He's like, all right, so how are we going to set this up, you know, because I don't know you and you don't know me. So Alex says, I tell you what, tomorrow morning, I'll give you my phone number. You call me up, and I'll put $5,000 in an escrow account. You match the $5,000 in an escrow account, and we'll veer off. He goes, do you like to ski? And Max goes, that's what I'm here to do, is ski in Aspen. He goes, great. I'll even pay for your lift ticket. That's what Alex tells Max, right? He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll put $5,000 in escrow. You match it with $5,000 in escrow. We'll meet out at Aspen. You bring as many friends as you want. I'm going to bring a couple. My girlfriend Megan, she's going to bring a couple of friends. And you will experience yourself me stopping time. What do you say? He's like, you're on. So he gets the number from Alex. Alex goes to his table with his girlfriend Megan. Oh, she's so pretty too. She's got long hair. She's thick. She's like voluptuous, just the way Monty likes her. But you know, that's Alex's girlfriend, right? I just wrote the story. You know, I got to put that in there. So anyway, they go off to their little supper time there, or excuse me, their little lunch time at this restaurant with the fireplace in it. And Max decides he's going to eat there too. But I tell you what, it's a long wait. They give you a pager and you got to wait, you know, it's a 25, 30-minute wait to get in that place. So warm, it's, you know, it just makes you feel good like you're at home or something, right? So Max eats his supper. He goes tooling around. He's shopping around Vail. He goes back to his hotel room. He's kind of looking at the telephone number to this new person that he met, Alex, with his girlfriend Megan at the restaurant with the fireplace in it. He's thinking, how in the heck could this guy stop time? That's impossible. I can't wait to call him. I can't wait till tomorrow. I can't wait to go to Aspen. I can't wait to experience this human telling me he can stop time, because he can't. Oh, Max knows that it can't be done. No way. No, he's working at Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin is a contractor for the military of the United States of America and abroad. There's no way a human can do that. No, no, no. So Max is watching a little television. He falls asleep the next morning, 9 o'clock sharp, boy. He wakes up. First thing he does before he has breakfast, he calls up Alex. He says, Alex, how you doing? This is Max. We met at the restaurant with the fireplace in it. And I'm ready. So, you know, what do you want to do? Do you know an escrow company that we can? He goes, we can do it through my bank. We can do it through your bank if you have one. You can. Alex says to him, you know what? It's your choice. You pick one, and I'll put in the $5,000. So Max looks up online. He finds an escrow account. You know, somebody that does escrow account transactions and that sort of thing. He puts his $5,000 in there. He gives all the information to Alex. Alex puts his $5,000 in there. Alex says to him, I tell you what, we're going to meet in Aspen. Here's the address and such. I'll meet you there at 1 o'clock. Bring as many friends as you want. Well, Max tells him, I'm here by myself. So it's okay. I'll bring my camera. Can I record it? He goes, oh, absolutely. But there's a couple of rules when it comes to that. He's like, oh, okay. 1 o'clock. They all meet at Aspen. Well, Alex, he's got 2 of his friends, and Megan brought 3 of her friends. Right? And Max, he's just by himself. So they get all suited up. They got on their goggles, and they got on their mitts and their coats, and right? They got the skis and the poles and all that stuff. And they're all ready, and they're at the top of the hill. And Alex goes up to Max and says, now listen, this is the way this is going to work. You're going to give me like a 2-second lead, because I need to go first, because I'm going to have to stop the time. So as everyone comes to a hill, we're going to all go on this hill, and as we go up, and to even off, I'm going to stop the time in midair. And you, Max, and all these people here, my friends, Megan's friends, myself, Megan, and you, will be literally in suspended animation. Max is like, no, we're not. And you're going to give me $5,000 because this is ridiculous. He's like, okay. Money's in escrow. If I'm lying, I'm dying. If I lose, it's on you. You get $5,000 a day, right? He goes, now listen, there is one stipulation. Before we start, Max, you have to turn off your phone. If you do not turn off your phone once the time has stopped, that means your phone won't work. In other words, it won't advance. The programs will not initiate and they will not advance. When the time stops, all it means is you can't advance forwards, backwards, or side to side as far as advancing in motion. You can move your hands, you can move your head, you can speak, you can look, you can talk, but you can't advance physically. Boy, I tell you what, Max is like, what a load of crap. This guy is really... He goes, you know, I know that they legalized some plant here in Colorado, and man, he's got a bad batch. But okay, sure, I'll humor the guy. So Max takes his cell phone, he turns it off, right? He's like, okay, it's off. Puts it in his pocket. They got their skis, and he goes, okay, here we go. Alex takes off, right? The rest of them follow real quick. They're all skiing, shoo, 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 shoo. And they go up on this embankment. They kind of even off, and it stops. All of them are kind of lined up. Everything is stopped. And Max, he's got to change his diaper because he can't believe this. He's on his skis and he's trying to keep his balance and he's looking down. It's about 6 feet down. And all these people next to him, to the right and the left to him, they're waving at him going, so what do you think of that? Hey, thanks for the $5,000 is what Alex told him, right? He goes, take out your camera, take some pictures, maybe take some video, because nobody's going to believe you, buddy. He takes out he's kind of wobbling because he's trying to keep his balance, right? He takes out his camera and he takes pictures, right? He turns on that video and he's getting video, actual video of, you can see that he's moving his hands, and these people are in suspended animation, all of them. But only for 2 minutes. That's right. So Alex turns and says to Max, Max, this only lasts for 2 minutes. He's looking at all of his friends, and he's looking at Max, and he's like, listen, just a little while now, we're going to all start going. So you better be ready. Put that camera away. This only lasts for a couple of minutes. He goes, okay, everybody, 3, 2, 1, and they all advance. They're going down the hill, right? They all stop. Hell, Max is in disbelief, but he's got it on video. He took the pictures. He experienced it himself. He knows it's real. And Alex is telling him, you know what? That was the easiest $5,000 they ever made. What is that an hour? Oh, it's not an hour. It only lasts a couple of minutes. Yeah, that's $2,500 a minute. Yeah, that's a pretty good job, isn't it? Thank you very much, Max. You should never underestimate anyone because you never know their true skills. I'll meet you back at Vail. We'll close up the escrow and all that stuff. So that's what they did. Max goes back to Vail along with Alex and his girlfriend there. All their friends dispersed and such. So he transfers over, he calls up the escrow company, he says, release the funds. So at least Max was man enough to pay the man the $5,000 that he originally betted him that he could stop time. Wow, he is really fascinated about that. He shook hands, because Alex is a gentleman. He really is. He's a good guy. You don't want to make him mad, but he's a good guy, right? I guess that's with everybody, right? So Max goes back to his hotel there, and, well, I tell you what, he's on the phone just like that. But who's he calling? Huh. He's calling the bigwig, the CEO of Lockheed Martin, at his house. This is important, right? Here it is, early in the evening. He's not calling him at work. No, he's calling him at his house. You see, Max has been working there for 18 years, so he knows about everybody, and he knows all the top brass, and he knows most of their telephone numbers. This is important. He calls him up. He says, Bob, this is Max. I'm out in Vail. I'm on vacation. He goes, yeah. He goes, listen, I met this guy, and he said he could stop time. And oh, Bob, he's laughing. Yeah, I've heard it before. He goes, no, listen, Bob, this guy really did stop time because I experienced it. I have it on video. I took pictures. I was in suspended animation, truly. Bob gets a little bit quiet, see? Because after all, Lockheed Martin is in fact a military contractor, and they have some really wild technology. So he knows that maybe this is possible. He also knows that it's coming from Max, an employee that's been there 18 long years. So Bob says to him, you know something, Max, do me a favor, send me over that video, I want to see it. He goes, you got it. He sends him over the video. Bob says, okay, I'm going to review the video. I'll call you back in 15 minutes. Hang up the phone. Well, he doesn't call him back in 15 minutes. He doesn't call him back in a half an hour either. About an hour later, he finally calls Max back. Bob says to him, Max, you're supposed to be there a week, right? And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to dispatch Roger, and he's going to record all audio and all video of what you experienced, and you need to talk to this Alex guy. You need to find out how he's doing it, if it's something he learned, acquired, taught himself. We don't care. We need to know how he's doing it. And we're going to also allocate $25,000 in cash to your account so that way you can sweeten the deal, so that this way Alex will show Roger and you that he can in fact stop time. He's like, okay, sounds good. He goes, oh, and by the way, Max, I did want to tell you, this is a exceptional find. And if all goes well, you're going to have one of the biggest bonuses of all your life. Oh, Max, he's gloating. He's all happy. Thanks, boss. You know how it is, right? So the very next day, Roger flies into town. Well, you see, Roger, he's been working for the company 20 years. He's got a little bit more seniority than Max. But you see, Roger himself, he works in the top secret areas. Kind of like need-to-know areas. And he's well-versed, well-briefed, and he also is a physics major. Right? So he knows what he's doing. So he comes down, and he checks into the same exact hotel that Max has checked into. They get together and they have a little bit of lunch there. And they have a little chat. Roger says to him, now listen, what I'm going to do is, seeing how you already know this guy, you've had some sort of interaction with this fella, you need to call him again. And tell him, for the most part, the truth. That I'm a physics major, and I want to see him perform the same thing, and we will give him 10 grand to do it. Okay? So, maybe we can have some sort of meeting. See if you can schedule a meeting as well. He goes, man, wait, Roger. We got to do this slowly. I mean, come on. You can't just ask them all. I mean, come on, bud, for real. And Roger's like, okay, set up a meeting. Set up a meeting with this guy. We'll pay for his lunch, right? So, Max calls up Alex. Ring, 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 and goes to voicemail. Max says, hey, how you doing, Alex? This is Max. We met the other day. I met you at the restaurant with a fireplace in it there. And then we went to Aspen. We went skiing, and you stopped time, and it was awesome. It was the best experience I ever had in all my life. Well, I got a really good friend here that I've known for almost 20 years. And, well, he wants to see it, too. And we are willing to pay you $10,000 just so he can experience. What do you say? Give me a call back when you get a chance. Left his phone. So, he doesn't call him back for a good 24 hours, right? So, hell, it's Thursday now. He finally calls him back. Max answers his phone right away because he knows his number, right? He goes, hey, I'm sorry I didn't call you back because Alex is really personal kind of guy. You kind of like Monty, right? He's a personal kind of guy and he's polite. He doesn't want to be rude or nothing. He's like, listen, I'm so sorry I didn't call you. I'm so sorry. You know, Diogi over here, you know, we had to take her to the vet. She had to get her checkup and all this stuff. She wasn't feeling well, and you know how it is, and she's just not well. He's like, Diogi? He goes, yeah, that's our St. Bernard. He's like, oh, okay. He goes, I tell you what, let's meet at the same restaurant that we first met at. We'll do lunch. Can you make it for lunch? Max is like, oh, you bet. We'll be right there. What time? Let's make it, 2 o'clock. Would that be all right? Oh, yeah, I'll be right there. They get off the phone. They're going to meet at the same exact restaurant, the one with the fireplace in it, in Vail, and Roger's coming along. But Roger's going to record every last syllable. He's going to do it with his phone. But he can do that. He can record the conversation because here in Colorado it's one-party state. So only one person needs to know that the recording is happening, and it's totally legal, right? Either on the phone or just in air. So it's no big deal. So they go off to this restaurant. And who's there? Oh, hell, Alex there. He's already got a table for him, so they don't have to wait. I mean, that's courteous, isn't it? They go over there, they sit down. Max sits down. Oh, hey, Alex, this is Roger, very, very dear friend. I've known him almost 20 years. He's a physics major and all this stuff. And Alex says, hey, do you guys got some business cards? He goes, you know, we are living in that day and age where everybody could say anything. So they hand over their business cards, and Max gives Alex his, and then Roger gives Alex his, right? So they get to talking, and Max says to Alex, hey, so how did you acquire this? I mean, is this something you learned? Is it something you were born with? I mean, is it something you studied or you picked out of thin air? I mean, he goes, how did you come across this gift? And Alex looked at him and said, well, you know, it was taught to me by one of my uncles. And it wasn't overnight. It took months and months and months. He goes, wow, that's just is so fascinating. I mean, have you had this all your life? He goes, well, you know, I went over there to visit my uncle one time, and he's really cool, you know. He's a really cool guy, and, you know, he never did work for any big company or anything. He's just a tinker, you know, tinker around with electronics and circuit boards and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he taught me how to do it. And it took weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months. And well, I got it. And it's awesome. It's great. I mean, I don't even work. That's all I do all day long is I stop time for people because they challenge me like you did, Max, at the restaurant. Right? And then when I show it to him, he goes, well, hell, one time I made $25,000 in an afternoon for 2 minutes. It's amazing. It's great. I'm getting rich off this. It's awesome. That's why I'm living in Vail. It's like, he's not too happy about it, right? So The waitress comes over and she gives them a little bit of hors d'oeuvres, and they got menus, they make the orders and such. They're going to get their food and whatnot. So they're just talking about the basics. Now Roger over there, he's got a napkin sitting on the table. He's got his phone kind of propped up against the napkin, kind of like an angle like this. So it's not flat, because if it's flat, you'd get muffled voices, right? It's got to be kind of at an angle so it gets everything real crisp. So they're getting kind of to the meat and potatoes of it all. They're like, so, what? And they're trying to be sneaky about it without revealing what they're really doing. Like, so, what do you think it would take for you to do this again? So that way Roger here can experience it. He goes, he's sitting there quiet, right? He's trying to figure a number. He just told him he made $25,000 in the afternoon. So they don't know what to say. So Max said, I tell you what, I'll give you 10 grand. $10,000. Okay, 15. I'll give you 15 grand. What do you say? Alex like, okay, sure. He goes, I tell you what. As soon as we leave here, we're going to go to my bank. Okay? He's like, all right. And I'll stop time there. But I'm going to have to clear it with the president of the bank first. It's like, okay. Because I'm not really sure that my bank is going to allow me to do that. So I need to clear it with him first. Because if I stop time, that is totally uncontrolled situation with so many different people involved that I don't know. Plus, it's a business. I don't even know if I can pull it off. I'm not really sure. But you see, Alex, he's playing with him. Because one time, long time ago, he stopped an entire mall for 2 minutes. And people can move their hands and they can look around, but people started panicking, man. So he had to like cut it short. Because it usually lasts for 2 minutes. But he can make it where it stops short, right? So he's just playing with it. So they eat their lunch, they go over to the bank, and before they get there, he goes, you know what, $15,000 is a lot of money, so how about if you pay me up front half of that? Max looks at Alex and says, oh, hey, no problem. Gets an envelope, he's right? $7,500 in cash. Wow. It's nothing to, like, make bones about now, is it? But you see, Alex did that for a reason. Because after all, he is in a bank. And banks are in the business to make money. He's also going to have to talk to the president of the bank, and he's going to need some cash for leverage. And that's exactly what happens. Alex goes over to the president and says, listen, he's talking to him way over here, and you have Roger and Max over here kind of like in the lobby area. He's talking to him, he's pointing at those guys. He's like, hey, yeah, and Alex is telling the president of the bank, he's like, listen, these guys are from Lockheed Martin, and they want to see me stop time in an uncontrolled situation, seeing that I don't know. And the president is like, Alex, really, listen, you and your time stopping stuff nonsense. He goes, listen, I got a business to run. These are my customers. I mean, they're not mine, but these are people. What if somebody got injured? What if you screw up our computer system and our equipment? I mean, who are you kidding? Alex, go do that in Aspen somewhere. Alex is like, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $5,000 cash right this moment. $5,000. We're talking 2 minutes. President changed his tune like real quick. He's like, $5,000. Really? Yeah, he whips out $5,000. He's standing all these $100 bills. Almost look like one of those Oriental fans, you know what I mean? President goes, you're on. Takes some money out of there, puts it in his pocket. He goes, but 2 minutes, that's it, buddy. 2 minutes. It's like, okay, all right. So he goes back over, and you got Max And you got Roger, they're watching TV in the lobby. They're kind of like oblivious to what's going on. Then he comes and he goes, listen, guys, it's a deal. It's done. It's done. I got 2 minutes. Okay, and if things start getting a little sketchy, then I'm going to have to do maybe a split time. And Roger looks at him. He's recording all this stuff. He goes, split time? What is that? You know what? I'll get into that later. Okay, I'll get into the split time later. I'm going to stop the time now. And then he looks to Roger and he says, Roger, here's the thing. You're going to have to turn off your phone. I already told Max this earlier when we were in Aspen. You got to turn off your phone, because if you don't turn off your phone, when I stop the time, it will not advance forward. The programs will not initiate. You have to turn it off. Once I stop the time, you can turn it on. But don't have it on before I stop the time, or it's not going to work. So Max looks over at Roger and he's like, yeah, for real. So they turn off their phones, right? He goes, listen, guys, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and on 1, the time is going to stop. You're not going to be able to move. And you'll be able to move your hands and your head, and you'll be able to see and talk and all this stuff, but you're not going to be able to step forward. You won't be able to step backwards or move side to side. There's no way. And Roger's just looking at him like, sure. Nonsense. Right? And Max is like, hey, watch this, buddy. He goes, okay, here we go. And there's people like standing in line. There's a bunch of tellers and that. You got the bank president. He's kind of eyeballing them, right? So, he goes 3, 2, 1. And Roger is the first guy. He tries to take a step forward. He can't do it. Nope, you sure can't. Max trying to move backwards. He's thinking he's going to move backwards. He can't do it. And nobody else can either. And there's people standing on the line. There's like an elderly lady there, and there's like a guy who's about 37. There's another person about 21. You got all the tellers sitting there. You got the president. He can't move either, and he knows he can't because he knows Alex, right? Alex turns around and says, okay, Roger, turn on your video. Get some pictures. Maybe get some video. Hurry up, because this only lasts for 2 minutes. Roger gets his thing. He's taking pictures of the whole bank panoramically. Now you got to remember, everything stops, and it does. Roger turns around and he turns on his video camera, and he's getting video now. He can see that people are moving, but he can't advance. He's pointing towards his feet, and he can't advance. He cannot. He goes over and he goes to the television, because they were watching television, right? While he was talking to the president of the bank there. The television is stopped, right? And underneath the television, there's a clock there. Yeah. It's stopped too. Even the milliseconds have stopped. Which means all the cameras in the bank itself have stopped. And all the computer systems have stopped. Wow. He's getting all this stuff on record. He looks over at the bank president. The bank president is looking over at Alex. He's like this. Cut that up. Knock it off. Knock it off. And then time starts again, and Roger immediately moves his foot. Right? And everybody moves their foot, and people are like, oh, wow, what was that? I don't know. Was there an earthquake? And people don't know what to say. Nobody's hurt. You look back at the television. Television is going. The time is still going. Everything is back to normal. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Boy, I tell you what, this is fascinating. Max turns right back around, gives him another $7,500 in cash, even though he gave $5,000 to the president. He's not greedy. So seeing he's at his own bank anyway, turned right back around and deposited most of the money except for $1,000 in his account. Alex goes up to Max and Roger and says, nice doing business with you, gentlemen. Sure was. Right? So Roger, he still has his videotape going. or his video camera going on his phone. He's recording all this, right? You just can't believe it. And as Alex turns around, Roger taps him on the back and says, "Good job, man. I'm impressed." I'm not impressed. I've been working at Lockheed Martin for almost 20 years now, and I'm impressed. He's tapping him on the back, see? So Alex walks in front of them first. Roger's still recording. He sure is. As he walks out, and, "Okay, guys, have a great time in Vail." Max and Roger go back to the hotel. They're having a little chat, man. They can't believe it. Well, you see, Roger's got to call up Bob, who is the CEO of Lockheed Martin. He's got to give him a full progress report. And he does. Roger's really serious kind of guy, man. Real serious. Because he experienced Alex stopping time. And he can't believe it. He's still in disbelief. So, he's talking to Bob. He's going like, "This is legit. Okay? I experienced it. I have it on videotape. It's real. He did it in a very uncontrolled situation at a bank. There was, from what I could see, at least 12 people in the bank, including us. This is real." It's like, fascinating. He goes, "Okay, I'll tell you what, Roger, did you also implement that certain arrangement that I asked you to do?" And Roger said, "Oh yeah, you bet." He goes, "Good. Good. I will call you back in 1 hour." That's Bob, the CEO of Lockheed Martin. Hang up the phones. Max looks over at Roger and he goes, "Hey, what was he talking about? Implement a certain... Oh, what was that all about?" He goes, "Watch this." Roger pulls out his phone, right? And as Alex is walking in front of them, leaving the bank, as he tapped on his back, Roger was kind enough to put a tracking device and stick it to the back of his coat, Alex's. Wasn't that nice of him? And he's got it on video that he did. Max is looking at him and going, "Oh, that is brilliant. That is brilliant." Because they don't know who this Alex is. All they know is his name is Alex. That's all they know. All they know is his name is Alex and his girlfriend's name is Megan. And that's it. They don't know who he is, where he lives, where he's at. None of that stuff. So, an hour later, Bob does call him up. Says, "Roger, put me on speakerphone." Roger puts him on speakerphone. Bob, the CEO of Lockheed Martin. He goes, "Max, I'm going to include you in this information, and the only reason why is because this is need to know, but you need to know, seeing that this is your discovery. You discovered this man. And because of that, you need to be involved all the way through." So Max, he's kind of gloating again. He's a big old smile on his face, you know, because he's going to be involved in some secret stuff. Roger, he's always involved in that stuff. It's no big deal. He goes, "Listen, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a 6-man MERT team. You're going to pick them up at Aspen Airport. You're going to bring them back to the hotel. Max, you need to rent a van because they have a lot of equipment. They will be flying into the Aspen Airport on a company Learjet. And that's going to take place, hang on a second, let me think. Let me look. That's what Bob's saying. 3 p.m. Don't be late." "Oh, yes, sir. We won't be late." Right? So, the next day, they go to pick up the MERT team, mercenaries. Now, all of you people, if you don't believe for a second that all of these major national and international contractors that provide services for militaries, that they don't have people that they can call upon in a time of need? They do. They sure do. I'm sure it's not broadcasted. But when you're talking about something of this importance, they just pick up the phone. But why is it a big importance? Well, because Lockheed Martin, even though they have assets in the hundreds of billions, they want to be in the hundreds of trillions. And this sort of technology would make that possible. That's why it's a big deal. And they're willing to go through every extreme to acquire, get, or take this technology. You got that? So Max rents the van, they go pick up the Mercs, they fly in on that private Learjet that's owned by Lockheed Martin, fly into the Aspen airport, they load up the van with all their gear. See, you don't have to go through security when you got a Learjet, sorry. You don't have to wait in line, all that nonsense. Nothing. You're on your off, that's it. So they drive up on out of there, take them back to the hotel. These Mercs, they're already prepared. They already know where Alex is. They sure do. Oh man, I tell you what, this is not a happy time. So all these Mercs are sitting in this hotel room, the same hotel that Roger and Max are at, and they got the entire layout of this property and the property in which Alex and Megan resides at. They have the blueprints of the entire house that they're at. They pulled their subpoena compliance, all of their telecommunications, the background noise, the GPS, all of their contacts, everything. They got it all. They knew who Alex is, his first, last name, his folks, all his aunts, uncles, all of his friends, all of his... They know more about him than his mama does. That's a lie. Same with Megan. So they're all gathered around. They got the blueprints. They got the computers. They're figuring, okay, well, seeing that Alex and Megan, they don't own this house. They're renting it. The owner is out of France. Okay? They're only renting the property. However, there is a security system on that property. It's not a mansion. It's a good-sized house, but it's not a mansion. But it does have a security system. They're going to have to disable that from a computer. It'll be done that quick. They're going to also have to pick the lock. But they have a pet who's Diogi, a St. Bernard. Well, if the St. Bernard is outside, easy to take care of. They have to enter the premises without being seen or heard. When is that going to happen? It's going to happen at 2 o'clock in the morning. So they have everything arranged. The team leader of the Merc team turned around and he rented a 6-pack 4-wheel drive truck. Thing's a monster. They also rented a trailer with 1 snowmobile, because I tell you what, it is snowing like sin up there. And that night it's supposed to really come down too. And it'll be cold, real cold, right? So what the plan is they're going to go to the base of the property where the house is that Alex and Megan are residing. They're going to park there at the base. They're going to bring in 1 snowmobile. But that'll be the last thing that goes up. The rest of the team will maneuver their way up the driveway, into the forest, up to the house. They'll get on their laptop, and they will disable that security system. That's first of all. The plan is to dart their pet, Diogi, the St. Bernard, if it's in the backyard. Their plan is also to dart Alex and to dart Megan. And what do I mean by dart? Well, let's just say sleepy time. Because somebody needs to take a nap, only for a few hours, until they can be extracted away from the house and brought to yet another facility to find out exactly how this technology, how this man, Alex, is able to stop time. Right? 2 o'clock. Time to go, buddy. Time to go. All the mercs load up on this truck. They drive out to the place. They got the computers all ready to go. They don't monkey around with cell phones. No, sir, no, ma'am. They got sat phones. Satellite phones. Right? They want to make sure everything is set to go. They park down there at the base of the driveway, because the driveway is about a quarter-mile long. It's a real long driveway. They got the snowmobile on the trailer there. They're offloading the snowmobile. But that's the last to go. That's once they've gained entry into the house. All of these mercs have cameras posted right in the middle of their chest. They got all of the apparatuses associated with their uniforms, their boots, and their goggles, and their night vision, and all that stuff, right? Top of the line. Oh boy. Because they got to do some extraction, and they're not dentists, right? So they look at the blueprint of the house, and they say, okay, this is the entryway. We're going to go down. Off to the right-hand side is a walk-in closet. There's a little bathroom there. Left-hand side is a big kitchen with an island. Forward ahead is a living area or living room with huge bay windows. To the right-hand side, there's a bedroom to the left. Continue down is a master bedroom. There is a foyer in the bedroom, which is an entryway. On the right-hand side, there's a big bathroom. On the left-hand side, there's a walk-in closet. You open the other set of doors, and you enter the master bedroom. So, what they're going to do is they have to disarm the alarms. They're all sneaking up there. They're walking up through the woods. They got a visual on the property. Guy's standing out from the side there and disables that alarm. You get another guy sneaking up there and he's picking the locks, trying to get entry. But before they do that, they notice that Diogi is in the backyard around the other side of the property. They send another man out there to dart Diogi, to give Diogi the St. Bernard a little nap, in which all of a sudden Diogi's like, she just sleeping is all, you know. So then they gain entry into the house, open the door, all the mercs pile in. They're sneaking around and they're making sure they're not being seen anywhere, and they're just being as quiet as can be. They go down, they see that kitchen, they turn to the right, they go down that hall, they look inside this room over here, there's nobody there. They go to the foyer of the master bedroom. Guy's kneeling down, he's getting ready to open this door because they're going to dart him as soon as he wakes up. As soon as Alex raises up like this, they're going to dart him. And they're going to dart Megan as well. They're going to have a little nap, and they're going to take him out of there. Right? So the guy's creeping up. He's got the handle. And you got all the mercs behind him. Here we go. And you got the team leader. He's standing right up. He's ready to dart, right? They click the door and open. There is a secondary alarm on the master bedroom door. Imagine that. Alex is up and he's reaching for his metal protector, if you get my meaning. I mean, he is in a make my day state and all. So he's reaching around for it. They open the other doors and they go to dart him, right? And he stops the time. And that dart goes right here to his chin. It stops right there. And Alex's eyes are like looking down at the dart. And he's like, but he can't move. He sure can, because he stopped the time, but they can't move either. So what does Alex do? And Megan is out of her mind. She's screaming and freaking out. She's like, baby, 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 don't worry. Listen, grab my hand, grab my hand. So Megan grabs his hand and he goes into what is called split time. Remember we talked about that? Oh yeah, but you see, he wasn't able to tell Roger and Max at the dinner table there about split time, but now he's going to show these mercs what that really is. So what is split time? Yeah, he can split the time itself. In other words, where these people are stopped, they can't advance. Their equipment can't advance. Their cameras won't work. They can move around, they can talk, they can see, but they can't step forward, backward, or side to side. But guess what? Megan and Alex can, and that's what they do. So he's holding on to her hand, and they're racing. They're like, excuse me. But they only got 2 minutes. They got 2 minutes. They got to hightail out of there, right? So they just grab their things, and they jump into his 1979 Bronco. It's orange, if you know what I mean. Four-wheel drive. Yeah, he does. He just purely falls in that. They get down to about the base. They see this truck there with a snowmobile and such, right? What's he do? He stops his Ford. He stops his Ford Bronco. He gets out and he opens up his toolbox because he got a toolbox in there. He grabs some clippers, right? Wire cutters. And he snips off all the nipples to the tires. Gives them instant 4-flat tires. Gives them a little bit more of an advantage. Because these mercs are not going to race down that hill in no time. No way. And when they get there, they're going to have a surprise. So Alex is thinking ahead. They only got maybe 30 seconds left. They're hightailing it down the road. They're gone. So 2 minutes is up, and the mercs can finally step forward. Oh, they are furious because they failed. And then that dart goes right into the headboard. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's an ugly scene. It could have been ugly. But hey, it was averted. They got away for now. So Alex is thinking, okay, oh man, this is crazy. Megan's like, listen, I'm gonna call the police right now. He goes, call the police? Are you kidding? Alex is freaking out. And he doesn't really talk to his lady like that so much, you know what I mean? But this is kind of like a high-stress situation. And Alex is like, what do you mean call the police? Are you kidding? Give me that cell phone. He takes his cell phone, he puts it inside the toolbox. Because the toolbox is all metal all the way around. And it creates what is called a Faraday cage. So that way all the GPS technology and all the tracking devices are stopped. And that's true. Alex, I like that guy. He's thinking he saw one of Monty's videos. Anyway, so Alex knows that chances are, seeing that these guys were military, they're going to call somebody and they're going to dispatch a helicopter to come look for that big old beacon called an orange Bronco. Even if it is at night, big deal, right? But the good thing about the 79 Bronco, there's no GPS on it. Not like the new cars. With your OnStar and all the GPS technology that is located within the Bluetooth and the radio and all that nonsense. Not in a 79 Bronco, sorry. So that's the advantage he has. So he decides he needs to go to an underground parking facility, somewhere at an office building. That's what he does. He drives in there, and oh, their hearts are just a-racing. They're thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, this is awful. He's only got $1,000 on cash, on hand, you know, in cash. It's like, oh man. He goes, listen, Megan, chances are, why ever these people are here, I don't really know. But we've never had a problem. I mean, I've been doing this, you know, making money off of stopping time for well over a year. This has never happened. And these two guys show up from, you know, Lockheed Martin, and next thing you know, I got military guys all over me. And you know, he's like, baby, I'm sorry about all this. I mean, it's horrible. Because, man, we got to figure this out. Chances are they know who I am. They know who you are. They probably are monitoring all our finances. Jesus, they probably know all of our family names, and they probably know all our friends and our contacts and our, oh, geez, baby, I'm so sorry I got you into this mess. And she's really supportive. She's a good girl. She is a good woman. Oh my God, she's real nice. And she's good looking too. She got long hair. She's kind of thick and voluptuous. Just like I like them. Anyway, so she's giving him support. Because that's, you know, that's her sweetheart. You know how that goes, right? So she's like, well, maybe we can do this. And maybe we can do that. And he goes, you know what? And their hearts are just a racing, boy. Like, you know what? Let's try to get some sleep. And they can't get no sleep. Because your hearts are just racing. Your adrenaline's going. They're all cuddled up in the 79 Bronco there. You think about what to do. And oh, Alex, he's trying to figure it out, man, because he's in a spot. So they do. They kind of go to sleep again, right? 7:30, they hear a bunch of vehicles. Like, you know, like they're racing or something. Oh, Alex is really startled. He looks out the window. And it's not to be shook up about. People are just going to work. That's it. You know how you go up one of those underground, or excuse me, well, underground or covered parking areas. People go up there. You know, it just makes that noise. And people are parking, they're getting their briefcase, whatever they get. So it's not a big deal. He can settle down. So he decides that he's going to walk over to his bank and he's going to close his account and pull all the money out of it. He's going to get it in cash. I mean, we are talking Vail. We're not talking some poke town somewhere. We're talking a place that does transactions in the millions every minute. It's not a big deal. So he goes over to his bank. He knows he's going to be on camera. But he thinks he's pretty safe. Because if he was doing anything wrong, they would have sent the police. They would not have sent military men. Right? So it's probably a private situation because, after all, Lockheed Martin is a private organization. It's a company. So he's feeling pretty good. He goes over there. He goes to the teller. He goes, I need to close my account. First of all, what is the balance? She goes, well, you got $192,306. He goes, yeah, let's close the account. She goes, I can't do that. He goes, well, what do you mean you can't do that? It's my money. Why can't you do it? She goes, well, first of all, if you notice in the contractual agreement that you signed between you and the bank, you know, about a year ago, it states right here that if you're to close your account, you've got to give 24-hour notice. Yeah, like, oh, he goes, okay, what is the most amount of cash I can pull out of my account right now? Okay, I don't want to close it. What is the most amount of cash I can pull? She's like, $25,000. Okay, done. Let's do that. I'm going to keep my account. I just want the $25,000. She's like, okay. Take about 10 minutes. He's like, okay. He waits. No, man. Boom, doom, doom, doom. They're loading him up, bud. He got 20. Now he's got 26 grand because he had 1,000 from before, right? He takes the money, goes back, and he meets Megan. She's still there, hanging out in Bronco. He goes, baby, we got $26,000. This is what we're going to do. We got to leave Vail. We got to leave Vail now. He goes, chances are these guys are going to think that we're going to travel at night to conceal this big old blaring orange Bronco. But we're not. We are leaving now, right this moment. She's like, okay, baby, whatever you decide, I support you. You know, it's totally okay. So they get in the vehicle. They get in the vehicle there, and well, they're already in the vehicle, but they tool on down. They drive up out of the parking structure there, and they're off on the road. They're watching their speed. They don't want to get pulled over. They don't want to cause alarm. They don't want to speed. They don't want to freak out. They just want to be calm and act like there's not a care in the world. Because after all, again, it's a company. It's not law enforcement. So there's a difference. Well, by this time, Bob over there, the CEO, the big hotshot at Lockheed Martin, he's gotten word from the Mercs that they failed. Yeah. It's not a happy time. No. It's not a happy time at all. So, Bob decides he's going to pull a fast one. Because Bob's got all these connections. He's got connections in the real world. He's got connections in the military world. He's got connections internationally. And in law enforcement. He puts a call into CBI, which is Colorado Bureau of Investigations, to the Fusion Center, located at 6th Avenue and Kipling. and he decides to talk to the director of operations, which is a Mr. Rankin. That's R-A-N, excuse me, R-A-N-K-I-N. Yeah, that's it. So he talks to him because he knows him quite well. He's like, Mr. Rankin, I have a situation. We have two people, Alex and Megan there, and they have stolen some extremely advanced technology from one of our subsidiaries in Vail. And we were wondering if we could get some sort of professional courtesy from you to allow us to apprehend them by the means of using traffic cams. Would you do that? Mr. Rankin's like, what? He goes, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna send you what we have. I'm gonna show you what they took. I mean, it's, you know, we didn't really want to file charges because this, because Mr. Rankin, I'm being honest with you, this is of a national security situation. It is imperative that we catch these people. Wow, that's a pretty big deal. Start tossing around national security. You can get a lot done with national security. You start tossing that one around. Wow. There's a lot of channels, but hell, using that one. Man, this must be important. Oh, Mr. Rankin, he's thinking, wow, I'm special now. I'm going to help this guy. So he tells Bob over there, the CEO, he says, listen, it's not something I just wave my hand and do. It's got to go through the certain channels. Bob says, listen, I don't care what channels it needs to go to. This is a national security situation. So Mr. Rankin says, I'll get back to you. Give me 1 hour. Meanwhile, back at the camp, you have Alex and Megan. They're just driving down, and they're just coming into Golden, Colorado. Right? We see about 2 years ago, Alex, he used to work for a bed and breakfast in Golden, right? Called the Silk Cushion. The Silk Pin Cushion Bed and Breakfast. Yeah, that's what it was. So he knew them all very well, right? He used to take care of all kinds of stuff over there. As a matter of fact, he knew the owner so good. They'd sit down, they'd play cards, you know, when he wasn't working. He had to do a whole 8 hours and such. They'd sit there and play cards and smoke and drink a little bit of alcohol. Just don't tell anybody. It's our little secret, right? Okay? So he knows them really well. He's going to go down there and see if he can't maybe, you know, rent a room for a couple of days till things cool off, right? So they get into Golden. They drive up in the parking lot there. They go to the Silk Cushion Pin Bed and Breakfast. He walks in the door. He's like, come on, baby. They know me. It's okay. They walk in the door. And he says, Maggie, how you doing? Oh, how you doing? Oh, they give a big embrace. He's like, oh, this is my girlfriend, Megan. And I was wondering if I could rent a room for a couple of days. About 3 to 5 days. Would that be right? She goes, oh, rent a room. Listen, you can just have a room, okay? I'll just comp it to you. He goes, no. I wouldn't feel right about that. Here's $1,000 cash. She's like, ching, ching, okay. That's like a $250 tip right there, isn't it? Because, you know, the rooms are about $145 a night. So they get in there and they start reminiscing about old times, about when they'd play cards and they drink and smoke and all that stuff. Real good. These people are so cool down there. They really are the best. If you're going to have bed and breakfast, that's the place to be, right? So anyway, they stay at the bed and breakfast there, and they're all cuddled up. And first night, they're all cuddled up. They're watching TV, and they got a sigh of relief. They can relax. Meanwhile, back at CBI, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation Fusion Center, located at 6th Avenue and Kipling, well, Mr. Rankin, he's got good news. He sure does. He put a call into Bob, the CEO at Lockheed Martin, and he says, I got good news. Everyone has agreed that we will do this for you. And we have his driver's plate number. We have some of the best technology, as you know, out there. And we will catch these people, no problem. And you have our full support. Call us at any time. Oh, Bob is all happy. He's feeling pretty good about himself because he got his way again, right? So, the next day comes, next morning comes, and Alex and Megan, they wake up. They have a little bit of breakfast there, the bed and breakfast. And they start tooling around, start walking around Golden, Colorado. They're going to all the little shops. They got plenty of money, right? Got about 25 grand now, see? They're just tooling around, acting like not a care in the world. And as they're heading back to go back to the bed and breakfast, Alex knows something out of place. There's like 4 dark cars that are parked around, not in the parking lot, but are parked around on the street near the bed and breakfast. And they're the kind of cars that just scream federal authority car. Those kind of cars. So he doesn't even walk back. No, he doesn't. Good thing he's got about $25,000 in cash on him, because guess what they do next? Yeah, they get on the internet to go buy a car. They want to make sure that this car is pre-1979 or earlier. Mustang would be great. Anything that's, they don't care. They're going to pay in cash. Yeah. So what did they come across? They come across a 1975 Cordoba. Are you kidding me? A 1975 Cordoba? Wow. Yeah, that's like a big boat with 4 wheels. And it probably weighs about 9,000 pounds, right? It's just huge. And the guy's asking like $300 for it. They go in there and they pop the hood, and he looks around. It's in pretty good working condition. Then he goes to check the windshield wipers, because the windshield wipers, that's pretty important stuff right there. You can't buy a car without windshield wipers, let me tell you that right now. Especially in Colorado, because it snows and rains and all that stuff. Everything's in good working order. He goes, you know what? You have kept this. He bought it from an older fella. He goes, you've kept this in such pristine shape. I'm gonna give you a $200 tip. I sure am. Gives him $500. Bam. There you go. They drive off. And Megan's starting to get a little concerned now. She's like, you know what? They keep finding us. How are they finding us? And he goes, baby, I don't know how they're finding us. I don't have a clue, because your cell phone was... And he goes, you know what? It's probably on her clothes. She goes, on her clothes? Why would it be on her clothes? He goes, you never know. Because you see, as you remember, in the early part of the story, Roger was kind enough to put the tracking device on his coat. But you see, here's the thing. When Alex split the time, he didn't take his coat. He just had on his shirt along with Megan, grabbed her by the hand, went out to his 79 Bronco, and just took off. So he didn't have it on it. How they're catching him is through the license plate, or people are identifying it somehow, right? So they decide they're going to buy some clothes anyway, because they don't know. They could have a tracker on them and they're not even aware of it. So they go to the store and they buy a bunch of clothes, and they buy some really good socks too. This is an important part of the story. They buy some really nice wool socks, because you got to have good, clean socks every single day, right? You just never know. They buy some coats and that. And they take all their clothes, they just throw them right in the garbage, right? They get back in this Cordoba, and they're a big old thing, and they're just driving down the road. And Megan there, she's getting worried, man. She's like, oh, this is horrible. I've never been in this situation. Now I'm just a makeup artist, and what my clients would probably think I flaked out on them, and You know, there's nobody to call. I can't use my cell phone. I can't talk to my folks. I'm getting worried. And Alex is trying to reassure her, it's going to be all right now. It's going to be all right. We'll be fine. Listen, we're going to be fine. He goes, I'm sorry I got you into this predicament, but would you rather I just drop you off somewhere? I mean, you know where your folks live. I'll just drop you there. She goes, no, I don't want to do all that. She goes, but where are we going to sleep? We can't rent a hotel because you need a credit card to rent a hotel. We can't go to a friend's house because I'm sure they got every one of our friends on some sort of lockdown or surveillance. We can't go to our folks. That would be the first place we'd go. What are we going to do? He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, you know what? I just saw something. I can go to my uncle's house. She goes, your uncle's house? Well, wouldn't he be under surveillance? No. Because as soon as they crack my phone, they're going to see I was in some big old argument with him, and they have been for years and years and years. We're cursing each other out in text messages and phone calls. That'd be the last place they would think I would go. And it'd be the last place my uncle would think I would go. Because we really don't get along, but after all, he is the person that taught me how to stop time. She's like, well, it's worth a try. Where's he at again? Oh, he's in Nebraska. Oh, okay. So guess where they're headed? To Nebraska. Oh, they sure are. That big old car. They just bought the car so they don't have to worry about the registration end of it or the insurance end of it. Because you have a certain amount of days or time in order to register the car with temporary tags, so even if you get pulled over, it's not a big deal. And unless the police have a bolo on you, which is be on the lookout for, you ain't got nothing to worry about. He's got the information of the guy he bought it from in case he gets pulled over. It's no big deal. Plus he's got all this cash. If there's an accident or whatever, he can cover it himself. He's got it made. And as long as they don't speed and attract any attention to them, everything's going to be fine. So here they are. They're tooling down the road. They're on the freeway now. In this big old car, right? Big old boat. Like a tank with wheels. A couple hours later, big sign, welcome to Nebraska. He's like, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Hell, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning by now. Wow, long day, let me tell you. He slowly pulls up on his uncle's house, and see his uncle, he lives alone. And he never did work for a big old company. He just was a tinkerer. He just tinkered around with things. But he did, after all, teach him how to stop that time. So he kind of got him in this predicament in the first place. So they're kind of creeping up on his property. Right? Dogs are barking, carrying on and about. Light turns on the porch there. His uncle, he's a big old dude too. His finger's about the size of Coke bottles. I mean, he's not really tall, but he's just like corn-fed country, right? A little light comes on. You see a little curtain at the window on the front door open up a little bit. He doesn't recognize the car because he doesn't recognize it. Next thing you know, the door opens and there's a big old shotgun sitting there. And Alex's like, whoa, it's Alex. It's me. This is my girlfriend Megan. We're good. He's like, is that you? He's like, dang, you're waking up. Alex, is that you? Oh, are you kidding me? His uncle turns right back around and closes the door. That's family right there, isn't it? So Alex starts to turn around and get back in the car, and Megan hops out, and she goes over there and she starts knocking on the door because she goes to the bathroom. She doesn't want to wait to go to, no. She's knocking on there and she's like, what's his name? Can you please, I got to go to the bathroom. Listen, I'm his girlfriend. I've been traveling. I'm really not involved in this, and I know you guys don't get along. All of a sudden, He opens the door again. He's just standing there. He's looking at her. He's like, all right, go. Alex gets back out of the vehicle. He says, hey, come on, you know, I know we argue. Listen, you taught me how to stop time, and oh man, I'm in the biggest predicament. I can't even tell you. I mean, I got to the... He goes, all right, come in. Alex kind of walks in, and he's looking around. It's so dark in there, and just, oh man, there's like freaking smoke waves in there. You know what a smoke wave is? That's like people like Monty, heavy smokers, that get like waves of smoke on the walls and that. He's like, wow, this place is a mess. So he doesn't say anything because, hey, he's a guest, and after all, he did let Megan use the bathroom. So he plunks down at the kitchen table. Alex does. He's waiting for Megan to get out of the bathroom. His uncle's just looking at him like, what are you doing here? He goes, well, I kind of got myself in a predicament. You're always getting yourself in a predicament. You know, it sure is funny. You come over here, what time is it? 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You want my assistance, but you know, you didn't even have the decency to contact me on Christmas, or what about my birthday? What about all the other holidays you didn't contact? You didn't send me a card, you didn't do nothing. You just send me all this hateful stuff on your phone and calling me up, and he goes, I helped you, man, I helped you. Alex feeling a little bit guilty now, and he should feel guilty. Dang. Bothering people at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because you want something from them, right? That ain't right. Yeah, he's getting a big old earful, too. Alex looks at his uncle and he goes, you mind if I get something to drink? And by that time, Megan comes out. She goes, yeah, I'm kind of thirsty too. Is it okay? Yeah, go ahead. Alex opens up the refrigerator. He's got quite a choice. There's milk in there, there's pop, there's orange juice. There's even some cold water in there. He grabs the orange juice because, you know, it's got vitamin C in it, and he's had a really rough day, and so does Megan. He goes up in the cupboards. He's looking for the glass. It's a second cabinet. Come on. Opens up the second cabinet there. He gets 2 glasses, and he pours a little orange juice for him and Megan, because they had a long drive. They're standing there. They're drinking their orange juice. He goes, nah, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. You just stay put. I want to talk to you. Both of you. Of course they're going to stay put. They're thirsty, and, well, he did let her use the bathroom and all, right? And he comes back out, and they're just standing there with their hands like this. They finish their juice, you know what I mean, like real quick. They're not going to get seconds because they didn't ask. That's not polite. So Alex is kind of sitting there with his arms folded, and he's leaning against the counter. And Megan's right next to him. She's kind of sitting there the same way, waiting for him to come out. He comes out, and all of a sudden, 2 darts. One hits Megan, and one hits Alex, and both of them. Sleepy time. Both of them are asleep. What happens next? His uncle places a call into the CEO of Lockheed Martin. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Alright, I seen these, yeah, these 2 were on the news. Anyway, they're piled up in my damn kitchen. Come and get them. I'm Monograph, and if you can't speak freely, you're simply not free.